What's going on, everybody? We're going to start a new segment at the beginning of every episode, and that is going to be the podcast shout out. Now, we want to do this to kind of help some other podcasts out, expand their reach, and hopefully we can help each other out. I completely understand because we're trying to make it out there too, and so I think this is a good opportunity to introduce our audiences to some other neat podcasts. Of course, our very first podcast shout out is going to be our parent, Collateral Cinema movie podcast. Now, that is the podcast that Dakota and I do with Beau and Robert Ortegon. And as much as gaming nerds as we are, we're also movie nerds. So that's a lot of fun to do. We just like to kick back, analyze movies. It's a blast, really. More than likely, you're already checking out Collateral Cinema if you're a fan of Collateral Gaming. But on the off chance you're not, go check us out. Once again, Dakota and I also co-host on that one. So you'll see us there. You'll hear Beau and Robert there as well. And you can find us on iTunes, on Podbean, on Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, SoundCloud, Chill Lover Radio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So go give us some love and let us know what you think. Anyway, stay tuned for next time's podcast shout out and on with the show.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
And we are Collateral Gaming.
Welcome to Collateral Gaming, the only video game podcast that matters, where we focus on good games, bad games, and everything else in between in the world of gaming. We are podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so smoke it if you've got it, whatever you've got. My name is Ashley Chancellor. Fun fact, I've got nothing today.
You ran out of funny, witty things to say.
I thought you were going to say you starred in Aquaman.
Yeah, something like that. Shit.
Jason Momoa.
There you go.
Yeah, with that beard.
We'll be back with the fun facts next week. We're in a brief hiatus. I'm here today with my brother, Dakota Chancellor. What's up?
Nothing much, bro. Just ready to get on with this game. I'm excited.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that in a moment. Of course, one thing I did want to go over real quick is if you listen to the beginning, we did our very first podcast shout out. Now, that isn't an item of particular interest because it's the chance for us to grow your podcast. If you're like us and you're also running a podcast, probably a more successful and popular one, I'm willing to bet. So we're just starting out. But
You mean like Collateral Cinema?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yeah, by the way, as usual, Beau and Robert are here with us, just chilling out.
Yo.
hey, everybody.
How's it going?
How do you guys feel about us shouting out your podcast?
Hey, that's fine by me. I mean, whatevs.
Our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, hell, this is all the same brand. I mean, whatever.
L Company
Yeah.
Production.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, if you want us to shout out your podcast, just hit us up. We're on Twitter at CGaming Podcast, Instagram at collateral.gaming.podcast, and we're on Facebook under Collateral Gaming Video Game Podcast. So shoot us a DM or email us at cgamingpodcast@icloud.com. We'd be happy to shout you out. We'll do a shout for a shout or whatever you guys want to do. We're fine with that. Anything, we're happy to just help out a buddy, you know?
Absolutely.
And we have many, many friends in the Potter family. So we also, as everybody knows, we do podcast shout outs on Collateral Cinema as well. And we've already shouted out some interesting podcasts, you know, everything from the Two Girls on a Bench podcast to Unrivalable Rant with Juliet Miranda to the Nerds with Words. All kinds of great people, man. Christian and Damon's Amazing Nerd Show. All of those are fucking awesome.
And we just did Super Media Bros podcast.
Yeah,
as well.
Super Media Brothers. Those guys are friends of ours. Friends of the show. We consider them at least, you know.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Now, the other item of interest before we go on to our game is going to be our Patreon content. I just wanted to go over that a little bit. I know we've been promising the Let's Plays for a while. They're taking a little bit longer. We had some technical difficulties getting it set up, and I have to sync up video, and it's kind of a mess. But I'm going to release that out, the Fable 3 Let's Play, which is, again, for free. And And then after that, all of our Let's Play commentaries are going to be patron only. However, both Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming, I think, are planning on, instead of doing membership fees per month, you're just going to pay per content. And that made me work a little bit better for the Let's Plays, because I may have to divide those up into separate episodes because they're so long and there's so much content. I don't want to cut it all out. So we'll see what happens with that. But go check out our Patreon if you want to go ahead and donate just to support us. I mean, we would love that, and we will get that content out for you guys soon. Also on Podbean Patron, and we're just coming up with ideas. If you have any ideas, let us know, DM us or whatever. Now,
and real quick, also Collateral Cinema is on Podbean, Patron, and Patreon. We're pretty much doing the same thing that you just said, and we're gonna have some more film commentaries on the Podbean Patron very soon for $1 and $5 tiers. At $1, we'll go ahead and give you a shout out at the beginning of the show. That's what we're going to start doing. And also we're going to start having exclusive content on Patreon as well, like live streams and maybe some top 10 videos, or maybe some mini episodes that are topical more than just focused on a movie, you know. So look for that very, very soon. Podbean Patron and patreon.com/ccinema podcast.
okay, Beau, you can stop hogging the mic now.
Oh, come on. This is my microphone.
I'm just kidding.
My mics.
My studio.
My studio.
Guys, that goes double for Collateral Gaming. I'm basically just keeping everything analogous to kind of the way Beau does it with Collateral Cinema. So we will likely have some form that's equivalent to everything that Beau mentioned. We're probably going to do it pretty much the same way because I'm lazy and I'm just doing everything. No, it's not because I'm lazy. I like the format, and I want to kind of keep it similar, keep that branding together. I don't know. I'm OCD.
That's right. I'm the daddy. I'm the fucking daddy.
Okay, that's too far.
I don't think anyone in here besides you believes that.
You know what? You know who's the
Okay.
daddy here? I'm the daddy here. I'm the only one.
no.
Who's your
Only
daddy?
one that has a child.
Well,
Wow.
Well, on the way, in the oven.
Oh, yeah.
In
Bun
the
in the oven.
In the oven. There's a bun in the
oh
oven.
my god.
All right, guys, as much as we love to bullshit, I do want to go ahead and get forward with the game. One other thing I kind of was interested in doing was talking about news in the world of gaming. Dakota, have you heard about anything going on recently?
I have, actually. The new Elder Scrolls Blades came out for the iPhone. You pre-purchased it.
Yeah, I haven't even played it yet.
Exactly. Neither have I. So I'm excited to
That
start
looks
it.
pretty cool. So that was just kind of our mini news segment. We'll probably throw together a news video for both cinema and gaming really soon. Now, guys, today we are talking about a grand stall in the world of gaming. We're talking about a top tier. We're talking about the greatest game ever made, and that is Atari's E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. April
Oh, man.
Fools!
Hey, don't tell James Rolfe that. He'll have a meltdown.
Holy shit.
No, April
Seriously.
Fools. Despite the title, we are actually talking about No Man's Sky. And if you listened to our previous episode, you would know that. So shame on you if you fell for the trick. You should be listening to all of our episodes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm happy to have any listeners at all. Okay, guys, so we're actually going over Hello Games No Man's Sky. Maybe one day we'll talk about E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial.
And it won't be an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, no, we'll do it for real. Maybe that will be one of our bad game reviews, which, by the way, we're going to reveal our very first for our 420 episode coming next episode. Woo! Now, No Man's Sky. This is a game that has generated a lot of controversy. Put and I we were following this game before it came out. You remember that?
I pre-ordered it, I remember.
Yeah.
We were following it for a while. We learned a lot about it, online. We saw a lot of posters and stuff, and we learned about what it's about mostly, and the algorithm that you're going to talk about it in a minute. We learned a lot about it before we actually played the game.
Yeah. Now, this game generated a lot of hype before it came out because here was the thing. It's a procedurally generated universe. Think Minecraft in space, right? And that's kind of how the gameplay comes out. And we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But the idea of this near infinite universe and Hello Games, which was at the time an indie game studio, I think composed of like less than a dozen people total when they developed this. It really caught a lot of ears because there were a lot of promises made. There was a lot of speculation going on. And in particular, people were just wowed. The game boasts no less than 18 quintillion planets.
Quintillion. God damn.
Yeah, that's not a billion. That's not a trillion. That's not even a quadrillion. That's quintillion. That's a 64-bit seed in procedural generation. And every single one of those planets is generated completely randomly with its own species of flora and fauna, its own geological formations, its own environments. It's really crazy to think about. It's astronomical. In fact, I think Hello Games cited that about 0.01% of the game's universe would ever be explored by the entire player base. That's how huge it is. Now, here's what's funny. Originally, that was only a 32-bit seed. I believe that was in the scale of millions, not nearly as many. And some people said they couldn't do it. They told Hello Games they couldn't do it. You know what Hello Games did?
You know what they did? They doubled it.
Yeah, they doubled the exponent. So it's instead of being 2 to the 32, it's 2 to the 64.
Right.
That's a huge fucking number.
Damn.
Surmising about 18 quintillion. And so this was a massively overhyped game. So much so that I think people expected more out of the game than what initially came out. And that's why there was such a controversy. Now, did you guys ever hear about No Man's Sky, Beau or Robert?
No, I've never
I
seen it
was
before.
aware of it somewhat, just by way more or less of Twitter, you know,
Right.
certain gaming accounts on Twitter. But I mean, I kind of thought that the whole scope of the game was kind of bullshit, you know. It kind of sounded like a Peter Molyneux kind of boast, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
But-
compared a lot to that. And we talked a little bit that in our Fable episode, remember?
Right.
About
Yeah.
some of the promises. Now, the difference here is that Sean Murray, who is the head of games there at Hello Games, he didn't quite promise things that weren't there. It's more like the team didn't drop in and stop the rumors from happening. They kind of let things propagate. It's not as if they said things were going to happen that didn't. It's more so that they didn't tell people no.
They accepted the rumors.
Yeah, and they allowed the hype to generate, and I
Right.
think that's why so many people were disappointed. The game is massive. As far as we know, the promise of 18 quintillion planets, I mean, that's there. I mean, although I guess we can never verify that.
Right, but I believe it. I mean, looking at the vastness of this world. Yeah.
Isn't the opening loading screen literally all the planets that are in the game, or at least like just a small like fraction of them?
It appears to be. I think that's
That's what I
scrolling
believe.
by every star system in the game. I wouldn't be surprised because it calls out some of the ones that were discovered by
Yeah,
other
exactly.
yeah, those are all solar systems.
Yeah.
It's totally believable.
Wow.
That's the cool thing, guys. One of the big parts of this game is the exploration aspect. I mean, alone, that's just groundbreaking. And even if some people felt like that wasn't necessarily fun as a game, it's groundbreaking nonetheless. This is its own self-contained universe for all intents and purposes.
Right.
And go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's big enough to be a universe, you know? I mean, they really did a good job at the way that it's realistic. The planets are far enough from each other that you'd actually believe that that's how a universe would be, or a star system.
Yeah. And one of the cool things about that is, you know, I was thinking about simulation theory. I don't know if anyone's ever listened to like Elon Musk or, you know, what some of the other scientists, I think even Neil deGrasse Tyson said something about it. The idea of a simulated universe, of course, is that at some point, some future or advanced civilization could simulate our entire reality. It's the question, are we living in a simulation? The argument, of course, is that if it is possible at some point for any kind of civilization to simulate our reality, it becomes increasingly more likely that we are living in a simulated reality.
Right.
If we could do this much in 2016 with No Man's Sky, is it outside of the realm of possibility?
That we could, in turn, create our own simulated reality.
I mean, this is just a video game, right?
Right.
I don't know. In some ways, to me, that kind of sounds a little bit like the brain in the vat theory. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of similar to that, and it's some of the ideas that kind of got condensed into the Matrix a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do the Matrix on Collateral Cinema.
Oh, that'd be badass. Yeah.
But that's really what's caught Dakota's in my attention, right?
Definitely. That's what got us to pre-order the game.
Yeah. We were excited for this.
So that's a tiny glimpse of space combat. But I've only got 3 minutes, and there's loads that I want to show you. Like this. So this is the solar system that we're currently at. That's where that battle is taking place. But battles like that are taking place across the universe. If I pull back a little bit, you could see the other stars nearby that I can reach with my current hyperdrive. And I'm going to pull back a little bit more to give you a sense of the size of the game. But when I do, I really need you to keep in mind, to understand that every one of these points of light is a sun. And every one of those suns has its own solar system with planet-sized planets orbiting around it. And those have life, ecology. And I could even go a little faster. Now, most of these places have never been visited. Many of them never will be. Over there, in the distance, is the center of the galaxy. That's where we're all trying to get to. And I'm going to do something really stupid. I'm just going to pick one of these at random. And we can go there. Now, this was okay in rehearsal, otherwise I wouldn't be here, but if anything horrible goes wrong, just keep in mind that I've not been here before. Cool. So here we are in an undiscovered solar system. Probably no one's ever been here before. I can do a scan. And when I do, you'll see some points of interest. That red one down there is a beacon. And I've made it so that there's always a beacon near where I warp in just for this. So beacons are where you upload discoveries. That's it over there, behind that rock. And this is the planet that we've just found. So this is an alien world that we found together. This is planet E3. And it's not like the prettiest planet. I've seen better, but I've also seen a lot worse. So I could do a scan, and as luck would have it, there's no alien life, but I could show you this. So every planet in every solar system is fully destructible. Those guys are the Sentinels. They protect the planets from explorers like me. Now I'm underwater. And there's fish.
As I said before, a lot of things that people were expecting to make it into the game didn't. The biggest controversy, of course, came out day one of launch. It was promised that the universe was apparently so vast that the possibilities of you encountering another player were astronomically low. Like, it was almost impossible for you in the base game, or at least within that time frame, for you to just happen upon another player. What happened is 2 players, day one, which was apparently not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was some freak thing or if there was some explanation for this. I don't know. But for some reason, 2 players managed to find out that they crossed each other's paths day one. Because in the system, you're able to explore and discover planets. If you're the first person to come to a planet or a system, the game lets you know, and you can even name that planet yourself, although it'll auto-generate the names. I like the names.
I like it too. Yeah, I usually keep the generated names.
Yeah. You can upload those discoveries and get in-game credits for them. And if you happen to come across someone else's creation, which even now, 3 years later, is still fairly low.
Extremely.
It doesn't happen all the time. And you can even see that in the loading screen as you're whizzing by, and you only see so many names pop up. But 2 players apparently crossed each other's paths, so they decided to meet up. One thing that happened, I'm not exactly sure how the exchange went down, but I believe it was Sean Murray was involved in that, or someone from the Hello Games team had indicated that there would be some multiplayer aspect of the game. What the 2 players found when they decided to meet up was that neither's avatar was represented in the other's world. So there was multiplayer aspects. They could interact in the same world in terms of the same procedurally generated universe, and they could see each other's discoveries, though that was uploaded to the internet, but neither one was able to see each other, and neither one was actually in the same time of day in game either.
Right.
So that was one of the biggest controversies, and I think that's what happened. I think bad PR, honestly.
It honestly was. That's what really made people lose their sight for it, you know?
And I think it drew a lot away from what this game did manage to achieve. I mean, if nothing else, that's a fucking cool space simulator, right?
Right.
day one, when you did play this game for the first time, how did that kind of shake out? Besides the space exploration, what did the game do? What was the gameplay kind of like?
It was weird because you start off and you realize you're crash landed or you just appeared on a planet like out of nowhere. And then you start off by repairing your ship and stuff and then eventually going to space. But you feel so alone almost in the beginning because you're in this huge world. You can walk forever and lose your ship, just walking. It's just crazy.
And what does typical gameplay consist of?
Mining, flying your ship later once you repair your ship, eventually switching to different solar systems. Most of it is like Minecraft-esque, just in space, like you said. Or you mine, you get your materials to upgrade items. Once you upgrade your items, you can finally use your ship or your scanner, your laser, your mining beam. So, you just slowly upgrade until you find a way off the planet.
In and of itself, even without engaging in any quests, there's this general goal of making your way to the center of the universe. There are 3 alien species who interact with in the game.
Yeah, and you can actually learn their languages by going to those different planets. There's different quests you can do. And there's also these little language stones. I forget what they're called, but there's some kind of little stone in the ground and you can learn words from just going to them, And learning the words of the language is interesting because whenever you talk to one of these foreign species for the first time, it just has weird gibberish is what it looks like. But there's an actual language in there and you can learn it eventually. And as you learn different words, you can learn what they're saying and allowing you to trade items with them.
Yeah, and you can go interact with all those species. You can explore each planet, discover each of the species that planet has to offer, gather materials, build another warp cell to go to the next system.
Yes.
And there's kind of this rinse and repeat cycle. Then, of course, you start interacting with the quest. There's the Atlas path, and we'll get into what is of a story in this game. But day one, there was plenty to do. I think one person described it as Skyrim, but without the main quest.
Yeah.
And there was a main quest, but it was pretty bare bones. It basically was, you can do whatever you want. And I think a lot of people were bored by that, but I think a lot of people just didn't really understand what the game was. I think they envisioned something else. And later on, it did kind of gain back some of those features. And that, of course, started with the updates. Now, due to the bad PR that this game received and the controversy, Hello Games opted to offer free updates, which they're still offering 3 years later. There's a new one coming out this year. It's really, really great on their part that they decided to do that. I think that was really the only thing that could redeem this game.
Right.
And with each update, some of the original features that were considered missing were gradually implemented.
That was something that Minecraft didn't do right. They didn't give it the right updates. And that was kind of a problem on their part. That's why I lost a lot of notoriety after a while.
Yeah, some of the updates started to get heavily criticized. I don't think everybody was happy with the way, especially after Microsoft bought Mojang. I kind of went downhill.
That was pretty much a turning point.
Yeah. No, Minecraft's a lot of fun, and we will actually talk about Minecraft. We have that planned next season.
Definitely not a bad game review. It'll go down in history.
Minecraft is still fun. Especially with all the kids gone, right?
Yeah.
They're all playing fork knife.
Little whippersnappers.
Well, now it's just Minecraft is almost seen as nostalgic now. Like this trophy to be worshipped, this masterpiece, which it really is. But the problem is it didn't get that before.
The weird thing is with the pixel art style, it pretty much was a nostalgia game in its own right when it came out.
Right, and that was the kind of the point with it is simplicity can also be beautiful.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is really, I think, like the space Minecraft. I've heard some other people compare this to some other indie titles. Now, remember, this was an indie title at launch, but we're dedicating a full episode to it because I think it's considered like a mainstream game now.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like Minecraft went from indie to, so really, it kind of is space Minecraft, except I've heard that it's not exactly unique, that there are some other titles that have done this before. This was the first one that, at least, within our generation, kind of gathered all this attention. Right. I hear it compared a lot to Spore in terms of empty promises.
Right.
They did start to reverse some of that coverage, though, some of that bad press with the Foundation update, which added the ability for a player to make their own home planet where they could build a base. And base building in this game is a lot of fun. You and I have had some fun with that. Just that in of itself, I've spent hours.
Easily. You just destroying a bunch of materials and getting enough to build your base and just, making it look like you want it to, You have a sky bridge on yours. You spent a lot of effort into that,
Damn, sounds a little bit like StarCraft.
Right?
Oh, I love StarCraft. StarCraft's so much fun.
StarCraft is fun.
Damn.
We're going to have to do that eventually for the podcast. I remember being shown StarCraft for the first time by our cousin.
Yeah.
Talk about all the Korean kids that just do nothing but play fucking StarCraft.
Yes.
I never played
South Korea.
2. I played the original, though. I used to just play custom maps all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So the Foundation update was the first update, and that added, like I said, the base building, the home planet, so you could go back to that planet. Now, before, once you left a system, you pretty much lost it.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult to get back to where you came from.
The backtrack, yeah. But with the ability to teleport back to your base at any time, that was something I think that was much needed. And also,
Agreed.
the base building in and of itself is a lot of fun. The game update also added a survival mode and a creative mode,
Right.
like Minecraft.
There you go.
Survival mode is it's similar to regular gameplay, but if the player dies, they have to start all the way over. So it's like Minecraft's hardcore mode.
Mhm.
And then creative mode allows you to construct bases with unlimited resources and you can't die. Now, I don't know if that cross lists with the regular game and if you can still interact with creative bases. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder.
I didn't even see the option for survival and creative in the newest update.
I don't know, but I do know that if that were the case and it didn't affect each other, wouldn't there have to be like 2 different servers running the 14 quintillion planets? I don't think they could do that.
Yeah, I
I think
don't
it's
know.
just one world, but I think it's still so vast that you're not going to affect anything playing creative.
Yeah, that's true. It's so few and far between.
That's what I'm getting at. I think even then it wouldn't affect anything.
Yeah. Now, the next update was the Pathfinder update, and that added a lot of new features, including Exocraft, which are these vehicles. Now, we haven't come across any of those in our playthrough yet.
Not yet, no, but we recently restarted on with the new updates, so
Yeah.
it's taken us a while. But on my main profile, I got a lot further, but this was before that update.
Yeah. So we played this game at launch, and then I guess we let it collect us for a long time because
Oh yeah.
we just moved on to different games, and we just turned it on now with all these new updates. It's a lot awesomer.
It really is. It's game changing, literally.
Yeah. So, and that's especially with these new updates. You get the Pathfinder update, which created those vehicles in the game, and apparently there's a permadeath option as well that's added. I don't know how to activate that, but.
Me neither.
And then the third update was the Atlas Rises. It added to the game's story mode 30 hours of narrative and some more procedurally generated missions. Joint exploration mode where 16 players can explore the same planet and chat, but they'll see each other as glowing spheres. They're not going to directly interact, but it was the first step towards co-op.
Yeah, that was it. That's exactly what they needed to kind of give us that. Hey, multiplayer is coming. You're gonna get it. Here
Yeah,
it is.
it was delivering. Hello Games was really quiet at first whenever the controversy was around.
Right.
But they were listening. They started, I guess they just got right to work and they released these updates free and released, I guess, what they felt what the game should have been at launch. And I think a lot of times when controversies happen with games, honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with the publisher and the deadlines more so than the developer. I think
Right.
that's what happened with Assassin's Creed Unity and Ubisoft, for instance. I really do. I think that deadlines are just really hard to meet.
Right. Well, do you remember Bandersnatch?
Yeah.
It was all about that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
I knew you were.
Bander shit.
So the next major update is, well, it was the most significant upgrade, and that was No Man's Sky Next. And that's technically the version we're playing on, although there's a couple more updates after that. But this was considered a new version of the game. I guess you could say the season 2 if they did a season pass system.
More or less, yeah.
You know, kind of like Destiny, the Fallen King kind of thing, you know?
Oh, that's so much fun, bro. I can't wait to talk about Destiny 2. I've been playing a lot of
Or
it.
Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto, or Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 Full Burst.
goodness.
There's the weeb coming out on me.
God damn it.
So, No Man's Sky Next. Now, this was the most significant update. It completely overhauled the system. It changed all of the resources, the crafting elements, even just some of the most basic gameplay aspects, the UI and everything. And that's what was the biggest change for us when we came in.
Oh yeah, that was the biggest one because we weren't used to it. We were used to what we had before, and you come back to this, and it's like a whole new game almost. And they fixed all their problems.
And it's funny because we got to see that directly juxtaposed because when we started the game recently, we didn't update. We weren't connected to the internet.
Yes.
So we started the game the way it was, day one. And then suddenly within the same game world, everything's updated. The space stations look different. There's no more Thamia 9. You have to craft your own fuel.
Yes, you do. There's like refiners and stuff that you have to make to make
Which are
make
like
different items
furnaces
with.
in Minecraft.
Exactly. They
Literally
are.
like furnaces in Minecraft. The biggest thing is that it finally added true multiplayer. Now, we haven't toyed around with that yet, but
Not yet.
supposedly you can join up with, I think it's up to 4 players at a time, and you can go, raid ships together and explore. And that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to try that out.
I agree.
It also allowed you to build a base anywhere you want instead of just on your home planet, to build bases underwater or in as many as you want on as many planets as you want. We even have 2 on our same moon.
We do.
In our gameplay. And apparently you're able to assemble fleets of starships. So that's really cool.
We haven't toyed around with that either. That's another one that update. There's so much going on. We've barely started our Atlas path.
Yeah. Now, there was also an update after next, another more minor update, and that was the Abyss, which expanded the aquatic biomes and added more creatures, resources, and base building features. Apparently some more story content as far as underwater gameplay goes.
Smart idea.
Yeah, which is really cool. Kind of like Subnautica, right?
Yeah, like
you
Subnautica.
Compared to No Man's Sky.
I did. Well, definitely. When I played Subnautica, I felt the No Man's Sky feel where you can just destroy anything and go anywhere.
Yeah.
Do what you want, build your own base, because I knew I had heard about that.
Then the next update was Visions. It expanded the number of biomes available, made everything a lot more diverse. You've got more freighters, alien bases, fossilized creatures, and just some more diversity, more stuff. Now, the next update is set to release in 2019. It's called Beyond, another free update. The biggest thing with this is apparently VR support.
Well, that's cool.
Nice.
And not just a separate mode, like you can experience all of No Man's Sky in virtual reality.
That's crazy.
Now, that would be really fun to do high.
Oh my god, I can only imagine.
Flying
Imagine
around.
Seriously.
just like starting it off, and then suddenly you plug into your VR set, and you just play.
And then the other thing is No Man's Sky Online, which promises to expand on the multiplayer features. And apparently there's another component as well yet to be revealed. So the Beyond update we're looking forward to. We're going to have to check that out when that comes out.
I'm excited. What's the release date for that? Do you know?
Sometime in mid-2019.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because it almost is mid-2019.
We're getting there.
I mean, it's almost April. Well, it's April 1st, right? When
I
we
know.
post this?
My baby's going to be born in June.
Oh, man.
Wow, man.
That's crazy.
Summer baby. I'm a summer baby myself. I was born in July.
I didn't get that luxury. My birthday is like 4 days after Christmas, so it sucks.
Now, as far as things like resources, UI, combat, and crafting, what have you noticed different coming back into No Man's Sky with all these updates?
The base building for sure. That was a really awesome update they added. I love the idea of being able to kind of build yourself a safe environment quickly, especially when you're like walking long distances and you're taking radiation damage or thermal damage or too cold damage. When the temperature decreases enough, you actually take damage. And most planets have either radiation damage, radiation of the planet.
I think that was in the base game.
No, I know it was, but what I'm talking about is the base building. Is that you could build a base around yourself real quick, and suddenly you're able to not take radiation damage because you're in a closed environment. That was also done by going into caves. That was the original way to do it, and then you can still do that. You can go into caves and you won't take radiation damage or thermal damage. But now you can just build a base around yourself real quick if you have the materials, or get the materials real quick and just build a base around yourself.
Yeah.
I did that more often than I would rather say.
What I noticed is they completely changed all of the resources in this game. I think we mentioned before.
Absolutely.
And now, in order just to lift off, you have to craft a lot more, which is a lot of fun. You have to really manage your inventory. I think it's going to be a lot harder to get out of being stuck somewhere,
Right. One of the other things I noticed was the space stations. The space stations were a lot different than they were before. There were two sides, and one side you had to use an Atlas pass, like version 3, to get into it, and the other side was just was one of the species of that solar system, because we mentioned each solar system has a different species that it is populated with. But you had their two areas, the door and then an area where there's just one guy. Now you get into your space stations and there's like at least 15 different guys. There's like 4 shop guys where you can buy things from. I think it's pretty cool. That was an interesting update.
Yeah, it's a lot more populated now. It feels a lot more alive.
You feel less alone in the universe.
Yeah, I think that was a good update. Do you think Hello Games eventually may do on the vision and promise of the game?
With the evidence that we have so far, what they've done with these updates, they've been slowly giving it to us what we need. So I have every reason to believe that they will.
Yeah, I think they really redeemed this game. I think they finally raised it up. I think it sits at a 7 out of 10 now, which is much higher than it was originally. Right. I think it was like 3 or something.
If they had really spent their time doing it and released it like now with what they have, I think they would have done a lot better. But they had their deadlines, so I get it.
Well, here's the thing, and I think games would do a lot better if there wasn't so much hype built up. And I really feel like if games just were released with barely any information, you know? Kind of like what's working with Avengers Endgame right now.
Yes.
And Infinity War, same thing. The smallest amount of information possible, building up the hype, you know?
You're right.
It builds
'Cause,
itself up.
Yeah. Well, everybody loved Iron Man, right? Everybody loved that movie when it came out. You never would have thought that it would end where it is today.
Yeah, we're super excited about seeing Endgame. We're actually been watching all of the MCU movies again in order just to build up.
Yeah,
and we're
this
going to do
is-
an At the Theater episode, right, Beau?
I believe so. Yeah. When is Endgame going to be released?
April 26th.
Ooh, wow, that's pretty close.
close.
Very soon.
So
Yeah.
y'all need to catch up. Dakota and I are we just finished Iron Man 2.
So not very far at all.
God
We'll
damn
get
it! So
there.
I guess I'm gonna have to buy Iron Man this weekend.
Yeah.
Or you could just borrow our version.
Or something. Yeah.
We got almost everything in the highest quality on our Apple TV
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. We got everything, almost all the MCU movies.
Oh, okay.
This is our excuse to talk about the MCU, just like we have an excuse to talk about Tommy Wiseau.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
What a story, Mark.
All right, that was the room reference of the day.
Uh-huh.
So starting from the beginning, just overall, okay, in general, with each version, is it fun? Is it innovative?
Absolutely, it's a game changer. They set a new standard for games. They really did, just like Zelda did, like Minecraft did.
I think there's a lot of fun ideas here. I think, like you said, if it had been implemented later, they had more time to work on it. I think it would have gone a lot better. I think the initial game did suffer from a little bit of monotony. I mean,
Right.
we put it down for a reason. We kind of stopped playing it. It was really interesting for a while, and then I guess we got bored of it. So I'm really glad that there's a lot more content available now.
Agreed. Replaying this game just to do the podcast, I'm really glad I did, because now I actually want to play this game, you know?
Yeah.
Because with all this new content, before I felt like there was so much to do, so far to go, to do what I needed to do, that it was just nothing for me to do. I felt alone and pointless, you know?
Yeah.
Now, when you play the game, you have hope that you're going to get to the center, and there's a little bit more linear path than there was. You can't have it too open, but you can't have it too structured, you know?
Shit, I was just having fun building my base up.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
I think now I'm really excited to see where this game goes in the future, and excited to see what they add and for how long they continue to do that. And I'd be happy to watch to see where Hello Games goes in the future, what they produce next, or what they develop next, I should say. I think, last time we said we were kind of apologists for this game. That
Yeah.
was our feelings before, during the day one launch, during the release
Right.
game. Now, with all these updates added, which we hadn't tried it before,
I don't apologize for anything.
it's a legitimately good game now. There's a lot, and I think there's something in there for everyone. One thing that was really cool was I came home one day and my sister was home, and she doesn't come to my parents' house very often.
No.
And I looked and I said, "Is that No Man's Sky?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "That's literally the game we're talking about. We hadn't picked it up yet."
Right.
And in fact, we invited her to come onto the podcast and talk about it with us, but unfortunately she wasn't able to make it.
Shame on her.
It would have been cool having 3 Chancellor siblings on here.
All 3.
That would have been quite a thing, I gotta say.
Yeah, so that was really fun. She was completely flirted away. She said she was drawn to the game because she likes Subnautica.
Which is funny, because for me, it was the opposite way around. I played No Man's Sky, and I saw Subnautica, and I was like, wow, this is a lot like No Man's Sky, but they did it right. Because like I said, I was an apologist before. It wasn't the greatest game, but I knew it had hope. And so with Subnautica, it was a great, great game.
I was just appreciative of what the game was and what it represented.
Right.
Was it fun as a game? Well, that's subjective. Was it innovative? Oh, hell yes. I think there was a lot of really cool stuff here, and I think a lot was riding on this game with the future of gaming. I'm really excited to see what this means. I mean, if we can do this, it's like my simulated reality theory.
Yeah.
But, let's just think about what can we do in video games in the future. It's incredible.
Like we said, how we're apologists for them. It's more or less like we just respect what they've done, and we understand that this is a huge leap in video game technology,
Yeah.
We can see the effort that was put into it, and the fact that you said it was like a team of a dozen people.
Yeah.
They did this, and it did get a lot of hype. And whether or not it ended up being good or bad in the end, it produced a lot of hype, and a lot of people were ready for it, and it was just 12 people.
Yeah. So lessons for the future: control the hype.
Right.
Be honest. Say, hey, that feature's not in the game yet.
Right.
Let people know, be upfront, say, I don't want you to have too many expectations with this. And I think Hello Games learned that lesson, and they're really lucky to be able to have recovered from that in the way that they did.
Right.
And I think they really did the best thing they could with releasing the updates as frequently as they did, and at no cost, giving players the chance to say, hey, I know you already dropped $60 on this, but here's the game we promised you. We're still working on it.
Right.
And that's really respectable. I really respect developer willing to do that.
Of course. I mean, they're not getting money off of that. No one's paying for anything. I mean, the only money the revenue they're getting, I mean, I say the only revenue, but their main revenue from the game itself is just people buying it originally.
Yeah.
Commencing Atlas system suit initialization. Life support systems activated. Shield kinetic system online. Scanner damaged. Repair required. Aerial propulsion jetpack online. Multi-tool and mining laser attachment operational. User initialization sequence complete.
Now, there is one more aspect of this game, or I might say a lack thereof, and that's the story. The main goal throughout the game, of course, is to get to the center of the galaxy. And you do this by traveling from system to system. Now, if you wanted to just go on a straight path, and the game offers this, you can. The closest path that will take you to the center. But in reality, what you're trying to get to is the Atlas.
Yes.
Which is kind of this entity that's been reaching out to you,
Uh-huh.
your character known as the Traveler. And along the way, there's this kind of mystical element where along the Atlas path, which is kind of, I guess, the main quest line,
Yeah.
you learn more and more and more about what's going on. You encounter some strange figures that seem to know more than they're letting on.
Yes.
And you get some strange hints about the nature of this universe.
You go to these Atlas stations. I remember every few systems that you travel and you warp to, you find these Atlas stations along with a space station, because every universe has a couple planets, maybe a moon, and a space station.
Yeah.
But every time you travel, eventually you'll travel maybe 4 big warps or whatever. Eventually, if you're following the Atlas path, you'll find Atlas stations. And there's where you find those entities you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I believe you're offered a weapon as well. You may be offered something else, but they offer you something there, like a weapon you can get, I think.
Yeah, at least in the first game.
Right. I don't know how it is now. We haven't even gotten to the Atlas path.
We were so busy with everything else that the game has to offer.
Oh, yeah.
You can lose hours of your life in this game.
Easily.
You know, just like our last game, Breath of the Wild.
Right. The world, so beautiful. I don't even know if I could talk about it again.
Yeah, I think a lot of people may not have even really been aware of the main quest line so much because you just get so lost doing everything else.
Right.
And I think everybody, even the people who complained about this, admitted, it's a lot of fun. And it's so seamless traveling to each planet and just immediately, going from open space to the planet and vice versa, going from the planet to open space, no loading,
Yeah, you go through the atmosphere. You literally lift off and you just fly right out of the planet seamlessly. And you just fly to another planet. It tells you the time it takes to get to the planet at what speed you're going.
Yeah.
It does the math for you and calculates. So you'll look at the planet and you'll see it if you put your cursor on it, and it'll tell you we'll arrive in, and that number can be up to months, years.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that if you're going at like a really low speed, I don't know what form of speed they use, X amount of miles an hour, the speed at which you're going, the faster you go, the slower that time is. There's eventually you do your pulse engine, and it only takes like seconds I mean, easily in a galaxy, in a solar system, I keep using the wrong terminology.
Like how you keep using the wrong menu when you play the game, Dakota.
Yes, every single time I press start instead of options instead of the touchpad, or the touchpad instead of options. But it can take you up to like easily 3 minutes just at your fastest speed to get to another planet.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see distances like 3 days. That's real world time. How long it would take if you were traveling at the speed you were going.
Oh, yeah.
But of course you can speed up, and then you get your warp engine, which allows you to travel to other systems. Now, I wonder if you went long enough, could you just travel to the system manually?
I don't believe so, because I think it's more of like you just travel endlessly, and they don't actually add anything. I think you have to warp, because you can't even see the other stars properly.
I don't think you could possibly travel that far.
I don't think
even
you
with
could.
the pulse engine. Yeah, it's just too vast.
Plus, you'll run out of pulse engine fuel eventually, and you'll have to go at such a slow speed to get there that you're not getting anywhere.
Now, in real life, you would be in danger of running into dark matter.
You're right.
You would have no idea what you're running into necessarily. I think some people have tried things like trying to travel to a star, at least in the the release version of the game. Now, there is kind of a twist near the end of the story. We never made it that far, but we did our research. And at some point, you begin to realize, I think at the very end, that the entire thing actually is a simulation.
Right.
Going back to our simulated reality theory, this game is one. And I guess that is kind of apparent. I mean, the universe is just a little too perfect. I mean, they went for a lot of realism, but there are a few things that are just too convenient. And apparently you are the test subject of the simulation, and you're attempting to make it to the center and achieve the goal, and then it resets and creates a copy, and you start over from the beginning.
Yep.
And as the traveler,
You'll notice when you start the game, you actually hold square and it says initializing. You initialize like into the game.
yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't think about that before.
That's you spotting into the world,
Yeah. So the entire thing it's the Matrix.
Dude, that just got like Inception there, simulation and simulation and then simulation. Think about it that way. What saying with the simulation theory, if we're in a simulation, playing a game about a simulation that is about
Fucking with
a
me,
game
bro.
being in a simulation.
Mind fuck. Collateral Gaming, blowing your minds.
Man, y'all
Yet again.
fucking stupid.
Hey, Beau. Who's your daddy?
Think I'm gonna have to sanction Collateral Gaming.
Turtle.
Yep, yeah, sanctions against you, both of you.
You gonna sue us, Beau?
Stop me, man.
Sue me. Bite me.
I think we're going to have to reduce your podcast time from over an hour to just 30 minutes. You only get 30 minutes to talk about any of this.
No.
That's it, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. We'll set up our own mics.
And you have to clean up my studio.
Oh.
Anyway, final thoughts on the game.
Man, that was good. Honestly, play this game. You'll see why. This world is so vast, it'll blow your mind. You won't even realize the freedom you have until you play it. We can talk about it all day, but until you play it, and now that we're getting the VR soon,
Yeah.
you'll feel so immersed. It's easily distractible. You get distracted so easy while you're doing quests, and it's hard to just straight line the center. So do your best at trying not to get distracted, but it's gonna be hard not to.
And you don't necessarily want to go straight to the center. Eventually, you'll find that going to the Atlas stations is more worth your time.
Agreed.
Using that pathway. And eventually you can use black holes, which jump you closer to the center of the universe. That's one of the things that the Atlas stations can get you.
Woohoo.
Yeah. So anyway, as far as what I think, I agree with Dakota. I think you should definitely give it a shot. I don't know if this is everyone's cup of tea. I know it's a very complex game. There's a lot to keep track of. I mean, we were just trying to guide Beau through the tutorial, and I was like, Dakota, just let him do it. Don't try to explain all this, because it can be very overwhelming. I think everybody should give it a shot, though. Necessarily, is it something you should drop $60 on? I mean, that's up to you. For me, I think it's worth it, especially with all the updates that have come out. I think it's worth its market value now. Well, and actually now it's a lot cheaper than that.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's $60 anymore. I think it's interesting. I think what it represents is really cool. And like I said before, this game has redeemed itself in more ways than one. And I'm excited to see what they bring forward in the future. I went from thinking of myself as an apologist to a genuine fan of this game. Is it, the greatest ever? Is it something that I'm going to spend most of my time on? I don't know. Maybe not. I think it's something that would be fun to pull up once in a while and say, hey, let's just go to space.
Minecraft, same thing.
Yeah, lose yourself for a few hours. What do you think, Beau, from what you played so far?
All that I have to say is that No Man's Sky is absolute trash, and Hong Kong 97 is the greatest game that it was ever made, period.
Oh my god, Beau.
Oh, go jump onto r/the wrong generation.
Motherfucker. You don't even know what Hong Kong 97 is.
Was it released in 97?
No, I don't think so, but it had 97 in the title.
When I was a kid, I used to think the Nintendo 64 was made in 1964.
I had to.
And then I realized that was unreasonable.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
When I was a child, I had no idea, no concept of time. Only been on live for 5 years?
In 97, I was like 2 years old.
Nice.
In 97, I was maybe 6. 16, 17.
Old as fuck, Beau.
Hey.
Believe it or not, Beau and I are both millennials.
Yeah.
So Bo says.
I don't know anymore. There's like 20 different ways to look at the
Honestly.
millennial generation. I just view myself as an older millennial.
Let's save it for the extra segment.
Oh,
There's an extra segment. That's right.
Oh yeah. Did you guys like not wait? I wonder if people are actually waiting for our post credits extra scenes. I
Oh,
mean,
well.
I would look and see that there was like 15 minutes left and be like, oh okay. I don't know. That's just me, guys. If you stick around after the credit, there's extras at the end of all of our main episodes.
Don't be one of those
Audio
people.
only.
Don't be one of those people who leaves a Marvel movie early without staying for the post-credit scene.
Oh my god, it's like plebeian bastards. I think I said that on the last episode.
Jeez, you guys flatter yourselves too
Collateral
much.
Cinema.
Like way too much.
Uh-huh.
Buttercreamers.
So guys, what's next? Well, next week
Oh,
we
God.
are gonna do we're gonna try to do, if we can actually sneak enough gameplay in, I'd like to release our next indie game review. Don't hold me to that, but I would like to do that next week. Just a short mini episode, audio only. Maybe we'll record that right after we record with Collateral Cinema. We'll see how it goes. If we can play enough of the game in time, and that is going to be We Happy Few.
Yep.
Whenever we do our next indie game review.
Sooner or later.
But the big thing, of course, is going to be our next main episode, our 420 special. And that is going to be Zelda CDI. Now, this is
Wow.
something I think is going to be a
Wow.
really fun, just to get blazed as fuck to, and just, of course, if we did that sort of thing, it's Texas. So, of course, we're legal, right, Dakota?
We try to be.
Very legal.
Very legal, of course.
No illegal shenanigans happening in
Only
Section 9
pure,
studios.
only pure CBD derived from industrial hemp.
There you go. No THC, right?
Exactly.
That's the legal way of doing it. Anyway, if you guys like to smoke, if that's your cup of tea, even if it's not, you're gonna have fun with us. We're gonna explore Link the Faces of Evil and Zelda the Wand of Gamelon jam-packed into one episode. We've got to emulate it in order to make it happen, but we're gonna make it happen. Now that I've announced it, we can't go back. We got to make it happen.
Here we go.
I'm actually looking forward to this because, goddamn, those animated cutscenes are just worth the price
Awful.
of admission.
Wasn't there like, a YouTube,
seriously.
wasn't there like a YouTube poop about it?
YouTube poops were all centered around.
That's what I thought.
Almost
Pretty
all of them
much.
were centered around the Zelda CDI cutscenes, and I'm talking about those two particular games. There's a third one called Zelda's Adventure. I think we're going to try to do that next season, and then eventually we're going to move over that slot for something else. I think since we already have like kind of a Zelda spin-off slot, it would be cool to kind of work off of that.
Right.
Which technically mean 2 Zelda episodes a season, which is an excuse to do more Zelda, so why the hell not?
You're right.
I will say I've started playing A Link to the Past on my Super Nintendo emulator.
Oh, yeah?
Fun times.
Link to the Past is a good one. And
Yeah.
Link's Awakening, which is the sequel to that, is coming out this year.
Oh, really?
On Nintendo Switch. They're doing the remaster, a port of it on Nintendo Switch.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to that, and we are super stoked for Zelda CDI next week on our 420 episode, being released on 420, by the way. We're going to release it on April 20th. Anyway, guys, Collateral Gaming is on iTunes. We are on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Chill Lover Radio app. Thank you, Chill Lover Radio.
Oh, yeah. Big thanks to Chill and Chill Lover Radio and the Chill Lover Radio family for having both of our shows on their platform.
Hell yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, so we're available in all those places, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening to this on audio, look forward to the video version of it soon on YouTube, where we'll show you some of the gameplay content. You'll get to see some of our shenanigans in No Man's Sky while we're talking about it. Of course, if you're watching the video right now, then you're already watching that. But you should go head over to the audio podcast and listen to our extra segment at the end. Anyway, guys, I think that's a wrap. That being said, my name is Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
We are Collateral Gaming, and we are out.
Bye.
Who's your daddy?
Welcome to Collateral Gaming Extras, the part of the podcast where we do our best Christopher Walken impressions.
It's also the part of the podcast where we buttercream hard. Buttercreaming for life.
For Jesus.
Oh, come on.
For Jesus way.
Anally.
You were supposed
That's
to
right.
work off of my Christopher Walken joke.
What Christopher Walken
Christopher
joke?
Walken.
You weren't even listening. You were just planning your buttercream bullshit.
Exactly.
That's
That's
all you
right.
guys talk about. is
Buttercreaming.
buttercreaming.
That's
a
the
way of
only
life.
thing to talk about, man, is buttercreaming.
It's garbage day, man.
You guys will learn.
Garbage
Day.
Garbage day.
Arbor Day.
That's Arbor Day.
Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog's Day.
With Bill Murray.
Yeah,
Bill Murray.
something like that.
Beau,
It's a YouTube. It's a snob joke, really.
Yeah,
have you seen
totally.
Have you seen Beau's Facebook?
I have.
The Buttercreamers.
Mm-hmm. I went full buttercream.
Eldon.
All the
full
way.
Eldon.
You know what? Why don't you explain to the viewers what buttercream is?
Buttercreaming is love and buttercreaming is life. That's what it is.
No, Shrek is
You know,
love,
it's
Shrek is
not
love.
just about helping people out. It's about having fun.
It's
Yeah.
about carrots. Lots of carrots.
Oh, fucking hell. Nobody knows what you're saying.
It's about eating spaghetti with ketchup.
it's about white bread with mayo and bologna
With the crust cut off.
with the crust cut off.
Cut diagonally.
What is,
Welcome
maybe.
to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Oh, hey, Jesus, man.
Jesus,
man.
Scotty.
okay,
Jesus, man.
I think the reference is this movie called The Buttercream Gang.
It's an amazing movie. It's so white people. Like I'm telling you, man.
So
Send it back to Chicago.
why haven't we done it on the podcast then?
Oh, we're gonna do it on the podcast. We're also gonna. I want to do a commentary on this because it's just that fucking funny.
So does this qualify as a good movie?
You can find it on YouTube.
It qualifies as an amusing movie.
So it's everything in between then.
Just
Oh yeah, it's
watch
just
the-
about buttercreaming hard for your neighbor, for your family, and buttercreaming for God and country and church and all of that.
Buttercreaming in your family.
All they did was
What
paint
is
a
this-
fence and help the widow Jenkins.
Help the widow, the poor widow Jenkins, man. She's always falling in that fucking
Always falling.
movie.
Just leave her ass there.
Like
right?
twice. It's like leave her there. That's how she'll learn.
What does this sound like the beginning of an Alabama amateur porn video?
You mean an
Buttercreaming
Alabama
it.
Thunder Pussy video?
Buttercreaming,
You know that-
buttercreaming your family.
Buttercream in your face. Buttercream for life. Buttercream for MAGA.
Oh God, no! Don't just.
That's right. That's right. When I buttercream for Trump, I buttercream all the way.
Hard.
Harder than ever.
Ever.
Oh God. I don't know, Dakota. What do you think of buttercreaming? What is your take on buttercream?
I think y'all are ridiculous. Y'all need to stop this shit. I hear it. No, you don't understand.
Hey,
I hear
if
it every day at work.
If I ever come to Jesus, I come all the way.
Every
All the
single
way.
day at work, I hear this shit.
I don't fucking care.
All
we do
day.
this. We do the same thing with the room.
Every day.
We do the same thing with the room, man.
Is
Come
it-
on.
no.
Is this the
Player
new
two.
The Room? That's what I was gonna say.
I don't know.
Oh man, it is just as amazing as the room, I think.
Think so?
Because I mean, everything is meant to be so sincere, but it's so corny.
And
It's
kind
so
of gay, really.
very, very white bread. Like white people from white breadistan with all the white bread with the white crust cut off and all that.
Yeah. You're the
Just
Wonder
whitey
Bread.
white.
Wonder Bread.
Will
Wonder
it go
Bread.
down in history like the room did?
I guess so. I mean, it's not that infamous. It's just really, really funny and really, really memey.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
You know what I want to talk about? Flat Earthers. I want to
dear
talk about.
sweet
I could do a whole podcast on this.
Honestly.
If I had the opportunity, I would totally do a science podcast, like just debunking, like things like flat Earth, anti-vax, moon landing hoax, conspiracy theories, and just the whole pseudoscience. Okay, guys, I don't want to go into rant mode, but
You're getting there.
UFOs, urban legends.
okay, hold
Bigfoot.
me back. Okay, so in BC, something BC. I don't remember exactly how many years in BCE, but Eratosthenes proved the Earth was round. Mind you, it was common knowledge. He basically was the first one to come up with proof because he was able to measure the circumference of the Earth with surprising accuracy today. Those findings were later modified and by Copernicus's heliocentric model, and then by Kepler's model, and then we had Newton, who discovered gravity, and then we had Einstein in the theories of special and general relativity, and this has all been tested. We've been to Lake Pontchartrain, Dakota.
Oh, we have.
We've seen the literal curvature.
I was in an airplane just the other day, and I took a picture. I saw the picture on my phone. You could see the curvature of the clouds, okay? Now think about that for a second. If you're above the clouds, you're seeing the curvature of the clouds. You're not even seeing the curvature of the Earth. The Earth was even lower than the clouds. If I could have seen the Earth, there's no way you couldn't have seen the curve. It was ridiculous. And like you said about Lake Pontchartrain, that's in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, on
Was
the way
that
to New Orleans.
26, 28 miles stretch bridge on water, okay? We have seen the power lines on that bridge curve. You can see it in the distance.
It's actually on the internet, the Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah.
And some people say that's faked. Well, I'm here to tell you, I've been there. The curvature isn't faked.
Nope.
It wasn't photoshopped. And the Earth is fucking round. Right, Beau?
That's right, Robert. It's fucking round. Damn it.
I knew that already.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did.
The calendar ended at 2015 for us, or was it 2012?
2012.
It was 2012. Yeah,
It was
the calendar ended in 2012.
There you go.
We're post-apocalypse now.
Yeah,
so.
December 21st, 2012.
Yeah, I mean apparently.
I love that. Like, the Mayans had to stop somewhere, right?
Well, all
they
they
probably
did
just
was-
ran out of room.
All they did was just not get around to recycling their calendar because
Right.
white people came.
Yep.
Well, and they couldn't just keep going on forever. They eventually just had to stop. So why does everybody think that meant the end of the world? Like the Mayans, some primitive savages, from like several thousand years ago. I say that,
think
but
just
they're
use-
actually highly advanced.
I think just using the term primitive savages just kind of answered your question there. The whole noble savage thing. Basically it just goes back to like brown people can't do anything, white people better.
Also,
That's what it boils down to.
how would the Mayans know about this?
That's what I'm saying.
Aliens.
We're
How
figuring
because
out
why would they
that.
know?
Did you
Because
see Alien versus
because
Predator?
math and technology are not things that were created in a vacuum throughout human civilization. It's always been with us. It's always been used in certain ways. I mean, even so-called primitive peoples had their own technology, their own intelligentsia, their own, scientists, or at least their equivalents to it.
Well, yeah, there's evidence to show that Egyptians actually made batteries.
Yeah.
Mhm. Baghdad battery.
Yeah, they had actual batteries back then. Fucking white people.
But it was aliens. If we can't figure it out.
There's even evidence that they made sound recordings on the groove sides of like pottery.
Right.
There's actual evidence of that. It's actually plausible to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the pyramids, totally possible. You just have to use your brain to figure it out. You know what happens? It's what Ancient Alien does. It's what all the conspiracy theory videos do, and why I don't generally watch them because of this. It's like you form like these false dichotomies. We can't figure out how this happened, therefore aliens.
Yeah.
Hold on, you know what I
Aliens
mean?
did it.
There we go.
You skipped a huge step in between.
It's like either God of the Gaps or Aliens of the Gaps, one way or the
Yeah.
other.
People, I don't know. People are sheep.
All I'm going to say is that when it comes to flat earthers, the original flat earthers were total buttercreamers.
Oh my
They
god.
buttercreamed harder than anyone who has ever buttercreamed before.
How
And
did I-
just the propagation of this conspiracy theory is proof of that. They did their job.
Just to help.
Hashtag MAGA, hashtag buttercreamers for life, hashtag do you like carrots?
How am I not surprised that he was going to do this shit?
It's come full circle.
In full circle, we're back to buttercreaming. We have to see this movie now. There's no way.
Along with
Oh
Cannibal
yes,
Holocaust.
we could turn it on year after this. Shit.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right, so by next podcast, we'll have watched Buttercream Gang. We'll tell you how we feel.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're going to be brought into the world of buttercreaming. And my, what a world it is. Where we use little girls to spy on our enemies.
Maybe I can start using quotes from that movie then instead of Master Disguise, so you don't
Yeah,
rage.
I endorse quotes from Buttercream Game or Crime of the Ages or Second Chance or any of those religious movies. These are all religious movies that this shit comes from.
So wait, are you telling me you don't like it when I say who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
No.
Who's your daddy?
Do you know what I did with that fucking movie? I threw it across my room and it's underneath my dresser.
Remember
where it's at
we
right
took
now.
a picture and posted it on Instagram. It fell in the trash can, but it was perfect. So we actually staged it.
Fell
took
in
a
the trash
picture of
can.
it.
I fucking threw it in the trash can. What are you
I
talking
thought it
about?
fell in, and then you
I
threw
it in there.
We threw it.
Fuck
That
that.
was a perfect picture then.
No, that
Yeah.
picture was flawless. It was
Where it
exactly where it
belongs.
needs to be.
Yeah. Can you believe that Dana Carvey actually showed his face at the Academy Awards
Oh my
with Mike
goodness.
Myers?
Exactly.
How did they allow that?
exactly where it needs to be and exactly where it came from? Trash.
He filmed that turtle scene when 9/11 happened. That is actual truth.
That's crazy, bro.
My God, body smoldering in the fucking rubble, and he's going turtle, turtle, turtle.
People jumping off
the-
of roofs.
What the fuck, man?
Turtle.
Turtle, turtle.
What was the last thing they saw before they hit the ground?
No.
Turtle.
Oh no.
Turtle.
I'm just kidding. And no disrespect.
No,
man.
no, I don't know. Let's save 9/11 jokes for when 9/11 actually comes around.
Works for me. I get no criticism for it.
Yeah, but before then, there's just verboten. Only on 9/11.
Works for me.
So, are all jokes allowed now?
I don't know.
We're still not allowed to say the N-word. We're white.
Nope, you can't say it.
Unless you want to get prosecuted, crucified.
Exactly.
But Beau, you're an honorary black person, right?
Is he?
I make no claims toward anything like that.
He's a frosted Cheerio.
He said he was excited.
I'm a what now? What the fuck? A frosted Cheerio. What the fuck is that?
What does that mean?
There's your Cheerio, there's your chocolate Cheerio, and there's your frosted Cheerio. Your frosted Cheerio's in the middle. You got your regular honey nut Cheerio, your chocolate Cheerio.
What the fuck are you talking about? I don't get the analogy here.
I've heard of that.
That was funny.
I don't get the fucking analogy at all.
That's your problem.
Oh my God.
And then we have Robert Ortegon, who is,
Beto Ortegon.
So
I mean,
I've never
Beto.
heard that before
You
in
can
my
be
life.
Beto. That's cool.
Never heard that name.
I mean, you're Hispanic technically, but
Does
you're
he?
actually white.
There's
Yeah,
no proof of that either.
He looks more like Aztec, doesn't he?
That's what he comes from. That's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Just
Los
yeah.
Aztecas.
That's all we get is a yeah.
Yes.
How about an explanation? What is your
You want me to
heritage?
explain my heritage, where I came
Oh
from?
my God. I don't know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with a white person telling a brown person
Robert.
about what their
Hey,
heritage is. I
the
think that's very
original American-
loaded.
Oh,
the
okay,
original
okay.
American, pretty much.
The original American.
Technically,
Perfect.
we're the illegal immigrants, if you think about it.
There you go.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So, Robert, you're the only one who's actually allowed to be here.
There you go. By
Exactly.
birthright.
I got rights.
It's your birthday. You own this land. You own this land.
Damn it.
Well,
Damn it.
I think
All to
that's
hell.
all the time we have for today, or
Oh,
all the time
really? But I was having so much fun.
I'm tired.
Me too, God. I'm exhausted.
And
Oh,
apparently,
whatever.
we need to watch the Buttercream Gang.
The Buttercream
Oh, God,
Gang.
no.
Yes, exactly.
Eat a male sandwich when you do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip.
Oh,
Lots of
food
Miracle
sounds so
Whip.
Lots of
Good.
Miracle Whip.
Need
Not
some
not even
food.
real mayo, just Miracle Whip. Nothing. There's nothing wider than that.
Turkey.
Like,
You're so
like
right,
it's
though.
going straight for a Miracle Whip instead of the mayo.
Oh, man.
Turkey on white with a crust call.
Exactly.
Eat it out of the jar.
That's right. You both of you know that you do that.
Hell no, I hate Miracle Whip.
I hate Miracle Whip and I hate mayo too.
I like mayo. You don't like mayo
I don't
'cause
even
there's
like-
eggs in it.
Yeah, but
That's
I
why
don't
you
even-
don't like
I won't
mayo.
even eat veganese. I mean, that
Veganese.
to me is
Because
just-
it's like puss in a jar.
Well, yes.
it's still like yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't eat vegan eggs. either.
Me either.
Hey, vegan eggs are good.
You just said you don't want to eat them. Are they good or are they not, Beau?
What?
No,
what?
vegan A's.
That's vegan
mayonnaise.
A's, not vegan eggs.
Veganese.
Vegan A's.
Vegan A's?
Vegan-
Vegan mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Veganese.
Oh.
Man,
They're
that's
saying
so way.
Vietnamese.
Okay.
Robert's got it in his little rants over here.
All right, I guess we're gonna wrap this up, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Ash?
Do you guys want to share your handles or something? Usernames?
At C Cinema Podcast. If you want to follow me on Facebook, just look for Beau Maddox. I mean, look for Collateral Cinema on Instagram. And also be sure to become buttercreamers for life, because we need more buttercreamers in every small
I'm going to cut you off
town.
right there, Bo.
Oh, fuck no.
I'm going to cut you off right
Fuck
there.
no. I am spreading the word of buttercreaming for life.
Okay.
Hashtag make America great again.
Maybe on someone else's platform. So Collateral Gaming.
What the fuck? This is my studio. This is my platform.
Collateral
What the fuck?
Collateral Gaming is, as I said before in the main episode, C Gaming Podcast, collateral.gaming.podcast on Instagram. You can follow me at scruffy.chancellor on Instagram, I think. Scruffy C on Twitter. Ashley Allen Chancellor on Facebook.
Follow me on Instagram, Dakota.Chancellor. I guess I got Snapchat, Crazy Dude 1234 with a K.
I'm not even going to put that in there. That's so cringy. Cringe. What about
I made
you,
that
Robert?
one. I made my Minecraft account when I was.
Guess
like
you can follow
12,
me on
so-
Facebook at Robert Ortegon and Ortegon.Robert on Instagram. That's about
Yeah.
it.
Sweet.
All right. Get out of here, guys. That just,
Well,
just-
hey, Ash. Jesus, man.
Jesus, guys.
Jesus, man.
Collateral Gaming is an L Company production. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators, are used for educational purposes only, and are fair use. Please don't sue us. We're poor.